today's kettlebell session. So today we're going to need a variety of kettlebells. We're going to set our watches or our devices for high intensity workouts, and we're going to start with our warm up. So we want to make sure that we're working a pain-free range of motion. So let's have those feet comfortably wide apart for me, keep those abdominals nice and engaged. I'm going to take a nice big deep breath in, I'm going to reach it all the way up and all the way down. Let's keep that width across that body. Let's keep those abdominals nice and tight, and let's keep that chest nice and lifted. Let's keep that head and that neck nice and long. We want to keep that width across that body. So at all times we want to work with a pain-free range of motion. Let's keep that body as strong and as connected as we possibly can. Let's keep that width across that body, and we have for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now we walk those feet a little bit wider apart, hands will come on those hips. We'll keep those shoulders nice and open, and we'll do those little baby pulses. When I keep that width across that body, we want to make sure the room is well ventilated, and just make sure that obviously you grab water any time during the workout. Don't wait for me to say to grab a drink, you might need it before I do. And then we're taking it a little bit deeper, and then a little bit deeper again. And then a little bit deeper again. Brilliant. And then again. And then a little bit deeper. A little bit deeper again. Again, just make sure those knees and ankles are nice and happy, so if you need to adjust, just adjust them. And then we'll take it down again. Final time, so get nice and deep. Really get that activation through those inside thighs for me. Keep that chest nice and lifted. Bottom of the ribs, sitting over the top of the pelvis. And keeping that length through that body. Lovely. And we've got for 4, 3, 2, 1. Zip it up. Walk those feet together. Lift up nice and tall. So we're going to really lift it up out of that pelvis. Reach those arms out in front and get that nice big rotation. Again, just making sure that we're not going to wrap our fingers around any bits of furniture or any walls. Open up across that chest for me. And keeping that head and that neck as long as you can. Keeping those shoulders drawing down. Lovely. Fantastic. And we have for 3 more like this. 2. 1 more on each side. Brilliant. So we'll have those feet at the end of our mats, so we want to make sure you're not going to bash into any bits of furniture. So we're going to walk it down for you. We're going to walk it out into that plank position, into that nice long plank. Engage those buttocks, pull those abdominals in. Soften the knees, walk it down, and then we're going to push all the way up. So we're going to get that body nice and warm, nice and woken up this morning, or this afternoon, or evening, depending on when you're doing this workout. So you want to really think about drawing up through those shoulders, keeping those abdominals in nice and tight, walking it all out in a nice big plank position. Again, activating the core, keeping it nice and engaged, all the way through. Push up to the ceiling. If we have lower blood pressure, then just come up a little bit slower. If you feel dizzy at any time, then obviously just slow your pace down. And we're going to add it into this time. We're going to keep it into that plank position just that little bit longer. We're going to bring that knee in, take it back. Knee in, take it back. Soften the knees, walk it back. Lift up nice and tall. Take it down, walk it out. Wake that body up, bring that knee in, soften the knees, walk it back. Lift up nice and tall, get the shoulders nice and open. Keep that body nice and connected. So really pull in, soften the knees, walk it back. And we have 2 more times. So I'm waking everything up, keeping everything nice and connected. 1 more to go. Really squeeze those abs in, get those shoulders nice and connected. Brilliant. Now this time we're going to take it all the way down, walk it out. Now this time, knee's going to come to the elbow, back. So I'm going to open up through those hips and all the way up. shoulders nice and connected, nice long plank. Out to the side, out to the side. Bring it in. Push all the way up. This really helps get that heart rate up. Get those arms in nice and tight. Getting those shoulders nice and active. Getting that core nice and waking up. And mainly getting that body talking to each other. So all body parts are working, stabilising, waking up. Again, remember if that low blood pressure starts to kick in, you start to feel dizzy. Obviously just slow it down. Don't come up to the sit top too quickly. Brilliant. And we've got 2 more repetitions. So keep it nice and strong, keep it nice and engaged. Walk it back. Last one. Walk it back for me, nice and slowly. And up we come, brilliant. So now what we're going to do, we're going to grab that kettlebell. So we're going to start with a single arm swing. So you want to grab the kettlebell that is right for your body and right for you for this particular workout. Lovely. So, today's one we're going to do, single arm swing. We want to make sure our feet are comfortably wide apart. We're going to make sure that kettlebell turns in. We'll do it up in line with the shoulder and all the way through. So we want to make sure we get that activation through the glutes, inside thighs, keeping those shoulders nice and open, and really getting that body woken up from the inside thigh, glute, lower back, hamstrings. And obviously getting those shoulders working as well. Just get a width across that body for me. Tie my sit nice and tight. Remember, single arm swing is a hinge action. Keeping those abs nice and tight. Brilliant. And we've got another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow it down, other side. So turn it in, up 3. Trying to make sure we don't catch that inside thigh. Keeping those abdominals nice and strong. Really think of them, the abdominals from in between your 2 hip bones, all the way up to the bottom of that rib cage. Cross that body. And last repetition. Brilliant. Slow it down. Right. We're going to move on into our nice lunge position with our upright rows. It's slightly different to what we do normally. So, I'm going to do it from the front and then I'll do it from the side so you get the clear angles of what I'm doing. So, you're going to have your left leg in front, 90 degrees at the back. We're then going to take a bow. We're going to start with that weight at the floor. So, as we lunge, we're going to pull up, reach up nice and tall and take it down. So it's low, driving through that leg at the back. So we get that left leg and then the glute working, driving through that upright row. I'm going to do one more repetition here, and I'll turn it side on for you. Right, so leg is nice and long. Get your balance. Hinge it forwards for me. And then I'm going to draw it all the way up, squeeze, down, drive it up, and down. Sometimes you use your balance, just like that. So squeeze it through, and down. Drive, and lower, drive it all the way up, and down. Just keep those hands nice and tight, really opening up, and through. Load that leg. And last repetition. Brilliant. So we do exactly the same on the other side. So again, just going to keep different angles so you can see. So legs nice and long. So again, that nice big hinge first. Start right nice and deep. Draw it up. and then down. So again, if your balance isn't very good, just be mindful. So really drive through here, big toe connected to the floor. So you want to get right into the glute. So really squeeze it through, and down. Don't worry if your balance is off some days it's really good, some days not so good. Keep it nice and strong. And last repetition. Brilliant. Right, we're going to grab that kettlebell. So we're going to move on to our nice squat with rotation. So feet want to be nice and parallel. We want to have them directly underneath those hips. Hands going to come to the shoulders. So you want to just support that kettlebell with the arm. We're going to squat. We're going to rotate a little bit behind and draw it all the way back up. So we're going to squat, rotate, and back up. So keeping those hamstrings in nice and tight. Keeping that width across that body. So we want to go for that elbow to the opposite outside edge of the knee. Remember to breathe. We've got 5 more repetitions for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. I'm going to swap sides. So again, reset that body position. We're going to rotate round and back through. Keeping those abdominals nice and connected, shoulders nice and open. And we have another 5 to go. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So we're going to do our figure of 8s now. So you might want to grab yourself a slightly heavy kettlebell. If you need to grab yourself a towel to tie yourself down with, then do so. Super important when we're working with kettlebells not to have wet and slippery hands. So the kettlebell size I'm going for the figure 8 today is a kettlebell size of 6. So you want to make sure that you're not going to bash into anything. And we want to make sure those feet are a good shoulder width, if not a little bit wider apart. So we're going to squat down, take it behind, catch behind, nice big deep squat, keep those abdominals nice and connected. Making sure that we don't bash the outside edge of our calves or the knees as much as possible. It's so easy, just think about keeping the kettlebell swinging and you're squatting. The more you think about this exercise, the more complicated it becomes, and then the less you're able to do it. So you want to keep that width across that body, keeping everything nice and strong, nice and engaged, really keeping that space between the chin and the chest. Really driving through those legs for me. Brilliant. Keeping that space between the chin and the chest. Keep that head and that neck nice and long. So again, you can feel your heart rate coming up with this exercise. Big, strong exercise. Whole of the body is being used. If you want to raise your intensity, obviously grab a heavier kettlebell. As you see, as soon as you lose that concentration, it's very easy to not grab the kettlebell correctly and then almost send it flying. And we've got for 4, 3, 2, and 1. Awesome. So you can stick with that same size kettlebell if you wish, and we're going to move on into our butterfly crunches. So with our butterfly crunches, we're going to have those hips nice and open, and you just work through the range of motion that is pain-free. So most of the movement is done above our heads. So first of all, I'm just going to drop that camera down just a fraction more because it will give you a better positioning for the legs. Now, when we do our butterfly crunches, it's super important to work through that pain-free range of motion that is most comfortable for your backs. So we're going to lie on the floor, we're going to open up our legs, and we want to make sure our heels are pressing together. So first of all, we're going to take that kettlebell, which is why we need more space above the head. So do check that you haven't got any furniture that you can possibly take out or dent your floors. So with your heels pressing together, we're going to bring the arms up in line with the shoulders. We're then going to flex through the spine, we're going to roll up and sit up nice and tall. We'll then keep those heels pressing, we're going to roll it back through, take it all the way back down again, keeping that body nice and long and lengthened. So we're going to bring those arms all the way up, we're going to flex through, lift up nice and tall, keep that body nice and connected, rolling down through that spine. So make sure that we breathe out on the way up, contract those abdominals, lift up nice and tall. Again, making sure that we roll and scoot those abdominals in as we take that spine back down to the floor. So we keep that width across that body for me, keeping those abdominals nice and engaged, keeping that gap between the chin and the chest. So again, keep everything nice and open, keeping that space between the rib and the hips. Then to the floor there, oopsie. So again, keep pressing those heels together, keep that width through those shoulders. Again, get that nice big stretch as the weight goes above the head. Bring the arms through, flex through, lift up nice and tall. So really great for those abs. At some point you may be heading towards a long bikini countdown or a short bikini countdown. And we have one more repetition. Brilliant. So I'm going to put that kettlebell to the side. When it comes to a standing position, grab yourselves a drink. Okay, make sure your area is nice and safe. I'm going to adjust the camera. Super important to make sure that you can see at all times. And then we're going to go back to our single arm swing. So, width across that body for me. Let's keep those abdominals nice and connected. Want to keep those feet nice and parallel. So open up through those shoulders, weight comes in between the thighs. We're going to draw it up, squeezing those buttocks. Think about those inside thighs activating and drawing together. So if you're not ready to go up the next size kettlebell, just slow that speed down. So when it's slower, it's much harder to control because you have less momentum into the movement pattern. So we're going to drive it through those hips, squeezing those legs, squeezing those buttocks, getting that whole back line of the body firing up and waking up. So it's a really good top to toe workout. Lovely. Remember to breathe. And we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slow it down. Brilliant. And do the same on the other side. Toes in, draw it up. Keeping that body nice and connected for me. Keeping that gap between the chin and the chest. So really keep it nice and strong here. Making sure we don't catch the inside of the thigh with the kettlebell. And we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So we're going to come to our lunge with our nice upright row. So just put your mats out of the way. So we're going to drive it through that front leg and keep that heel nice and lifted. We're going to start with that weight onto the floor. So we're going to drive it through that. So if you've got your left leg in front, so your left butt cheek and the left thigh. Drive it up into that upright row, nice and wide, and down. So really loading that front leg, keeping those tummy muscles nicely engaged. And last repetition. Awesome. Right, so do exactly the same on the other side. So again, get a nice long split stance. Get your balance, keep that big toe nice and connected to the floor. Nice big hinge. Now we're going to drive it through and down. So really drive it up, squeeze the glutes and down. Lovely, so nice big drive. Keep it strong. And last repetition. Brilliant. So step in. If you want to change the kettlebell size, we're going to do that squat with rotation. So feet now, just the outside edge width of your pelvis. Weight's going to come up to the shoulder. We're going to lift up nice and tall first of all. We're going to rotate, we'll come to the outside edge of the knee and back up. So nice big rotation and back up. Keeping those toe muscles nice and engaged for me. Fabulous. Keep it strong. Nice big deep squats for me. Brilliant. And last repetition. Brilliant. Now we'll do exactly the same on the other side. So let's change that kettlebell over, we'll reset, watch out for your watches, and then we're going to rotate round. Again, some kettlebells can be a bit sort of grainy, so obviously for grip, so just be mindful of your devices if you've got short sleeves on. Keep that body nice and strong for me, nice and connected. And we've got 3 more to go. For 3, 2, 1. Awesome. So, tie yourselves down, okay, because obviously as we're getting warmer, we're getting a little bit more sweaty, so obviously just make sure you keep tying yourself down. And most importantly, make sure those hands are nice and dry, because then obviously we don't want the kettlebells to come flying out of our hands and going into any bits of furniture. So you may want to bring your mats forward for traction. Right, so we're going to start with our figure of 8. So feet now shoulder width apart, nice big deep squat. We're going to take it all the way down and through. So again, keeping it nice and connected, Remember, the more resistance you have, the more intensity you'll get on this exercise. So if you want to work a little bit harder, go for a heavier kettlebell. If you're not ready to go up to that next kettlebell size, try and do this slowly. It's really hard. We've got to slow it down and keep it under control. So really drive it through that kettlebell. Drive it through the legs. Watch out for the back of your calf. It's so easy. Clearly I've just done it twice to catch yourselves, okay? And it's obviously that comes the more practice you do, and sometimes it's just actually when you swap over at the back, it's just getting that grip in the right place. Lovely, and we have for 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic, all right. When I come down to the floor, I'm just going to put that camera down for you so you've got that nice good angle for me. So grab yourself a drink. If you need to open any doors or windows, do so. So with that butterfly crunch position, we want to really focus on squeezing those heels together. So try and keep those heels pressing at all times. Roll yourself down. Again, with the flexibility here, this is subject to your flexibility. So if your knees are up here, it really doesn't matter. Okay, and again, if you can't come all the way up, that is totally fine. Obviously, always make sure you work through a pain-free range of motion. So make sure you've got plenty of space above your head, that you're not going to take out any bits of furniture. Now, I bring the arms all the way over, so the weight starts in line with the chest. We're going to soften that breastbone, we're going to curl it up, we're going to lift up nice and tall. We're going to roll it all the way down for me, heaving that spine back down to the floor. So keeping that gap between the chin and the chest, keeping that width across that body, and keeping that length through that spine. If you're working on a wooden floor, try not to keep conking your floor. I just might weight it down my mat just a fraction. Keep pressing those heels together. Keep the shoulders nice and wide. And we've got 2 more. And 1 more. Brilliant. So I'm going to come up to a standing position. So for this kettlebell exercise, we're going to need a medium-sized kettlebell, so probably what you've just finished off on, so maybe a 6 or an 8. And we're going to go with our deadlift single arm rows. So first of all, we want to make sure that you're not going to bash your heads on anything, because obviously that would not be very good. Obviously, if you need to grab yourselves a drink, grab yourselves a drink. So, mats out of the way, so make sure we're not going to slip or slide on anything or catch our feet. Feet now directly underneath our hips. We want to keep those shoulders nice and open. So we're going to hinge it down from that nice hip hinge position. We're going to squeeze the elbow in, lengthen, keep those abdominals in nice and tight and lift all the way up. So we're going to hinge it down, squeeze it in for me, lengthen away and rise. So we're going to keep those shoulders nice and wide for me. Now when we're in that hip hinge position, it's really easy just to let those abdominals hang down a bit. So really just get that focus on trying to draw them up. Keeping that width across that body. we have another 4 to go. So 4, on this side, remember, singles, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. So do exactly the same on the other side. So I'm just going to turn to the other side so you can see, keep seeing. So feel nice and parallel. Knees are soft. Hinge it down. Squeeze it in. Lengthen. Lift up nice and tall. So hinge it forward. Squeeze it in. And up. Keep it nice and strong. Keep those shoulders nice and wide. So those collarbones nice and joined east and west. I've got 2 more to go. 1 more. Brilliant. So we're going to come onto our knees. We're going to need a light kettlebell. Okay. So the important thing with this one is you use a mat for your knees, because obviously it'll be a bit hard on a wooden floor. So it's all about now stabilising. So we want to make sure, if you have your knees quite a wide apart, okay, super wide, you're going to be really, really stable. So this time I want you to have your knees fairly close together. If you feel you're a bit too wobbly, then by all means, obviously take your feet wider apart, your knees. So we'll start with our weight in line with the shoulder. We're going to reach it all the way up to the ceiling and draw it down. So we'll do that overhead press, really focusing on getting that core nice and active, keeping your breastbone, tummy button and pubic bone in a nice straight line. So drawing it in, pressing to the top and back down. So we want to keep those glutes nice and squeezed, keeping everything nice and engaged. So make sure you don't shift over too much weight onto one knee. It's really easy to try and counterbalance. And last repetition. Brilliant. So stop it down. Okay, so again, just make sure you haven't moved, obviously with leggings, or if you've got really sweaty knees, again, you might move on your mat. So reach it up, really engage, squeeze it to the top and back through. That's it, lovely. And last repetition. Fantastic. Right, we're going to come to the standing position. Right, now we're going to do a plie squat position. But what we're going to do, we're going to hold the plie squat and then we're going to do a double front raise. Now, if you find doing the double front raise with the kettlebell is just a little bit awkward, then by all means, grab yourself a pair of hand weights and do it with the hand weights. So we're first of all going to open up those shoulders, toes turned out into that plie squat position. So we're going to plie squat first, then we're going to double front raise, draw the arms down, zip up. So the back is going to stay straight, we're going to come down, draw it up, in and rise. So squat down, lift up, keeping that nice activation through the inside thighs, keeping it active with the core, working through those shoulders, and keeping that body nice and connected front and back. Remember to breathe. Brilliant. And we have 4 more to go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. So the next 2 exercises we're going to do down on the floor. So we're going to need a lighter kettlebell and a heavy one just at hand. So grab yourself a quick drink on the way down. Tie yourself down as well. Now I've got sweaty. So a quick towel. I haven't disappeared for long, just grabbing some paper. Alright, so the first one we're going to do is our nice double chest press with our glute lift. So first of all, just make sure that hair is out of the way, that you're not going to get tangled up or anything, you're not pressing it into the back of your head with your hairbands, okay? So we are going to make sure to move that kettlebell way out of the way. Our shoulders are nice and open. Head is nice and long. Weight's going to start in line with the chest. Knees are parallel. We're going to lift up at the same time and then draw it all the way down. So it's a straight hip lift. So we lift with the hips and lower with the bottom. So drive it up to the top and back through and lift and lower. So keep that width across that body. We want to make sure we don't overextend through the spine. So you want to make sure those ribs stay in line with the hips, directing your knees away from the body, creating a little bit more space in that hip joint. And last repetition. Brilliant. So this next one, there are a couple of variations, so please work with the variation that's right for you. So I'm going to show you one variation with the lighter kettlebell, okay? And then I'm going to show you the harder variation with the heavier kettlebell. Now this only is down to your strength and flexibility in your lower back, okay, and your range of motion. So don't think you've got to try and jump in and do the hardest version first of all. So head's nice and long. Option 1 is where we have our legs up at 90 degrees, okay? We take the weight above the head, we then bring it up and we lengthen the leg away, making sure we don't take out any bits of furniture in the process. And then we take the weight away from the body, back up, out and in. Okay, so that's option 1. Doesn't mean to say it's particularly easy, it's just one option. Okay. Option 2, again, making sure you've got plenty of space above you and also making sure that you've got space away from that body as well. So keep that body nice and long and lengthened. Now, we're going to take both the legs and the arms away and then we're going to draw all the way back in. So we're going to lengthen away and pull back in, away and pull back in. So again, you work through a pain-free range of motion. Keep those abdominals in, nice and connected at all times. And we've got another 4 to go. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Brilliant. Pop those feet down, put the weight down. We're going to roll ourselves up and then we're going to stretch out. Awesome. So let's just put those weights out of the way. And we're going to start our stretching with our inside thighs. We're going to probably work on those today. So bring the soles of those feet together, slide your heels in, lift up nice and tall for me and remember to breathe. Keeping that width across that body for me, keeping those shoulders down and everything nice and open. Brilliant. Now we're going to take that leg out in front. So I want you to press your heel away, lift up out of your hip joint, reach it forwards, press those heels away, keeping that width across that body. And remember to breathe. Lovely. I'm going to take that leg all the way out, slide that foot in, lift up out of that hip joint for me, press that heel away. Lovely. I'm going to take that leg over the top. We're going to swing that leg around. We're going to sit up nice and tall. Bring that knee into the chest. Remember, if you can't get that leg around, just keep the leg nice and straight. Lovely. And then the other side. Brilliant. Now I'm going to place that down here. So we're going to insert those fingers for me. We're going to round through that back, get that nice big stretch. Look down in between your knees. If you prefer to do this one standing, by all means do it standing. And then bring those hands behind. Now lift the chest up, reach up, look up to the ceiling, get that nice big stretch. Fantastic. And then we'll take that arm across the body, keeping those shoulders drawing down, get that nice big stretch across the front of the shoulder and the rear part of the shoulder. And then the other side. Brilliant. And then we reach up to the ceiling, get that nice big stretch into those hamstrings, into those triceps. I'm thinking of doing another quad and hamstring stretch for you. Just a different one to what you're used to doing, that's it. And then the other side. Brilliant. So we're going to come onto our side. So again, just make sure you're not going to grab those kettlebells. We're going to bring the ankle to the bottom, pop the knees together. I want you to tuck your hips forward. So get a nice big stretch into those quads. Again, just doing a different stretch. If you feel that you don't get much from this stretch, by all means, just turn over. We've got to come up to a standing position and do the normal one. Now we're going to roll over onto our backs. We're going to grab hold of that leg, that nice big stretch into the hamstrings. A little bit more emphasis now onto the calves, pressing that heel all the way up to the ceiling for me, keeping that lower back in connected to the floor. So that's the base of your spine, not the curved bit here, okay? Right, while we're here, we'll just do the other hamstring stretch. Press that leg up, keep those abdominals connected. It's really easy to try and lift that bottom off to keep that leg pressing down, but press that heel up to the ceiling. And then we roll ourselves up. Just turn ourselves to the other side. And bring that ankle to the bottom. Keep the knees together, tuck those hips forwards, and just get that stretch through those quads. Brilliant. And then come to a seated position. And that's the end of your workout for today. I hope you enjoyed today's session and look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.